Okay, chipboard inserts. We are going to do some cool stuff with these. So, um, the chipboard inserts, you can use all of them. You can cut the tabs off of them if you want to use them without the tabs. The newer paper collections have tabs on the this and that sticker sheet that are sized to fit on top of these tabs perfectly. I'm working with So Much Fun, which of course was prior to the 6x8 albums coming out. So um, I'm using instead the little tabs from the bits and pieces. So I've gone ahead and matted my other uh, chipboard pieces. So let's go ahead and do these. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put glue on my little tab here and put that on first. And I'm just going to line this up because this one won't exactly center because otherwise it'll hang off the top, but it will be close enough that it will be fine. Okay. So on the back side of this, I'm going to use one of the pattern papers. This is just cut to 6x8. So, I mean, it's super easy to cut your papers for this. In fact, like you can get an entire album out of one 6x8, one 12x12 paper pad, because you know any of these bigger ones like the 6x8 inserts, matting these pages, you're just doing a 6x8 piece. So it works really well. So all I would do on this is just add a photo mat or two, either a couple of small ones, one big one, some odds and ends pieces, chit chat, whatever to kind of embellish it up. You're able to use like foam tape and stuff to pop those elements up if you want, because you control how much actually goes into your book. Okay. The other side here, hold on, I have to figure out which side I used on the other page. I'm using a bubble blue dot stripe petite print. And again, that is cut to 6x8. And I'm going to go ahead and put that one down over here on the front. And you can just decorate these. You don't have to mat them. I like to mat them, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And we are actually going to put a waterfall, a small waterfall on the front of this with our 4x4 cut aparts. All right, so what I have here, let me get my board actually set up to score here, are 3 pieces of white cardstock that are 4 1/8 by 4 5/8. So I'm going to put the 4 5/8 across the top of my scoreboard, and I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to do that on all 3 pieces. And that's probably what I love most about these types of albums is you can still do those elements that you do in mini albums, because especially with these Doodlebug albums, they give you enough pages between the chipboard pages and the cardstock inserts and the page inserts. You've got lots of pages in addition to those page protectors to really personalize your album and not have it just be page protectors. Okay, so I'm kind of stacking this together and kind of eyeballing where I want this to go. And I'm going to go ahead and just glue my first flap down about here. And I'm just eyeballing it as far as to center it. You, of course, can measure that and mark it out if you want to. I am not going to do that. Okay, so when you're building waterfalls, you're going to put the base, so the fold of your next piece, up against the edge of the piece above it. Typically, when I'm building waterfalls, I do them upside down because I find it much, much easier to see that, to line it up doing it upside down. But it is possible to do them this way. Now, this last piece, rather than glue it down the same, because then you just have this weird white tab hanging out, I'm actually going to fold it both directions and burnish it both directions. And then I'm going to glue this tab directly on top of this so that when you open this up, you've just got a nice big spot down here for a picture. And you don't have that random tab hanging out. If you don't mind that, then by all means, just do it the other way. I'm actually not even sure where I picked this tip up, but it's one of those things I try to do on most waterfalls. So, all right, so there's our waterfall. Our pieces for this are 4 by 4. Our waterfall finish size is 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. So we've got our nice little border. If you, of course, wanted to adjust that accordingly, you could. So there's one. And a lot of times, honestly, with waterfalls, I don't mat the entire page of a waterfall. I will just do 1/2-inch strips that I put on the bottom so that all you see are just those little 1/2-inch strips. That's really crooked. What did I do? Probably measured that one wrong, but that's okay. Or my cut apart's cut wrong. That's also entirely possible. But what I was saying is I will just cut 1/2-inch strips that I'll put along the bottom because that's what you see when they're closed. And then when you open it up and you add your pictures, you're just adding it above that little strip. Okay, so there's one insert done. I'll just do a photo mat and some odds and ends on that side. My next one, I've used what color did I use? Hold on, sorry. Lilac dot stripe. I've used another one of the tabs. So for this one, and we're going to do this on one of the other inserts, all I've got is a 6 by 12-inch piece of paper that I scored at 4 inches and 8 inches to make a little gatefold. And of course, I'll mat that on the front. I might not even mat it. I might just decorate it and add some odds and ends pieces or something. I honestly haven't decided just yet, but that's what I did with that one. We're going to do this one here in just a second. And again, I'll just do a photo mat on the back. This one, we're going to do another waterfall, only this time we're going to do a 3 by 4 because we've got all of these cute little cut aparts, and we're going to I'll put a chit chat piece over this happy birthday from all of us because I want all the little animals. I don't want it to say happy birthday. So we've got all these cute little 3 by 4 cut aparts that are oriented wrong for the 3 by 4 pockets. So in order to be able to use those and not just as like background papers, we're going to go ahead and do a waterfall with those as well. So my pieces for this are 4 1/8 by 3 5/8. And again, with the 3 5/8 at the top, we're going to score this at 1/2 inch on all of these pages. And I did 5, I believe, for this one. So super, super easy. And then I will fold and burnish. And typically you're going to fold towards the bumpy side in order to get a nice crisp fold line. Why do I only have 4 of these? I didn't cut a 5th one apparently, which somehow I'm not surprised by that. So we're just going to cut one really quick. So this was 4 1/8 by 3 5/8. I think I remember doing that because I was kind of going back and forth which way I was going to actually do this. Okay. All right, so there is my 3 5/8 side. And again, 1/2 inch. Okay. So again, I'm just going to kind of line this up just roughly about, so I can get an idea of how long it's going to be, so I can figure out where I want to put it. And I do want to put it like kind of in the middle here. So we're going to go right about there. So basically I'm going to line the top of this one up about with that hole there and then just eyeball it side to side. Okay. And just Put this together the same way we did the other one. So I'm just going to stack the next one up underneath. Okay, one more. And you could add magnets to this for and make a closure. You could do ribbon, you could do doodle twine. There are so many options. And I meant to fold that back the other way before I did that. You know, or you can just leave it as is, because quite honestly, it'll be just fine. Okay. And then this one will get matted with those 3x4 cut aparts. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's how that one will get finished off. And again, I'll just do a photo mat on the back here. Okay, so for our little gatefold card, like I said, I have a piece of cardstock that is 6x12. I'm going to score this at 4 inches. I'm going to turn it around, and rather than score exactly at 4 inches again, I'm going to slide this over just a hair and then score at 4 inches. What that's going to do is when I fold this up and I burnish that score line down, it's going to fold together perfectly flat, and we're not going to have this inside piece bumping in to the other side of our flap. Okay. Then I am going to take some chunky twine, or not chunky twine. This is not chunky twine. This is normal doodle twine. You could use chunky twine. I just don't use the thin stuff enough. I use the chunky stuff all the time. And I'm just going to tie that around my little photo flip here. And then we'll glue it right down just like so. So I will just put glue all over the back. And again, we're just going to eyeball the center, and there we go. You could do a 4x12 and have it flip up and down, however you would like to do that. So there you go there. And again, I'll just do a photo mat with some odds and ends and things on the back there. So for this one, we're going to do a little bit differently. So I've got it matted front and back. On the back side here, I've got a 4x6 piece that I am just going to run a very thin line of glue around 3 sides. So 2 short sides, 1 long side, to make a nice flat pocket. I'm going to line that up with the bottom here. And really, doing that, you wouldn't have to mat the whole thing. You could just mat the top part and then do your pocket. But there we've got a nice flat pocket for just a couple of tags or something like that. What we're going to do with this one, okay, so I have 6 of the tag cut aparts that I've got all still attached together here. And I'm going to line up just visually that the bottom of the top of this set of tags with one of the channels on my scoreboard here so that I can go ahead and score that. Okay. And then I'm going to fold it and burnish it. And then what I'm going to do is on the bottom pieces on the inside here, I'm going to go ahead and cut out where my tags would have been. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to take my cutting mat here somewhere so that I can actually see what I'm doing. And I'm going to cut them out on this piece as well. So I'm going to grab a craft knife. I'm going to grab a ruler. I'm actually going to use this one because I can line that up. Well, maybe I can. Nope, that's going to be too hard. that is not going to be the ruler for today. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is line this up here, and I'm going to get just that gray area. We don't want to take our tags completely apart, but we want to cut through just where those little dog-eared pieces are on the tags themselves, okay? And then I'm going to come down here and cut this one out. Okay, do the same thing over here. I know I'm turning this every which way, but I'm turning it whichever way works for me. Okay, and then I will do the same thing down here. There, get that one out. Didn't quite get up far enough on that one. If you get a little farther over, it's fine. Okay, which side did I do? I did not do either side on this one. Okay. And if you can freehand it, which this is a small enough piece, honestly, you probably can. We're going to try it on this last one to see if I'm capable or not. I managed to do it. Yay! Okay. All right. So this is going to go like so. I've got these that are kind of hanging out a little bit more than I would prefer down here on the bottom. So I am just going to take my scissors and trim those. And then we're going to come in on the back of this insert. And this, I'll leave this up to you. I'm not sure which way I want to do this. I'm not actually going to glue this just yet because I need to decide. You could go ahead and punch your holes in there and tie some twine in there, as well as on the bottom down here. It would be cute. You could run twine around it like we did with this insert to tie it closed, and that would be really cute. Or you can just leave it as is, and on top of those little holes or spots where the holes should be, just use some of the shape sprinkles, that kind of thing, and that would be really cute as well. But so that's how we're going to do that little chipboard page there. So there you go. You've got some ideas and some options for your chipboard inserts. And I hope you guys come back for the next part of our process.